We are wearing our Bok shirts this morning because world champion South Africa are gearing themselves up to face the Barbarians at Cape Town Stadium tomorrow. Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus has named 4 uncapped players in the squad for his encounter, even though no test caps will be awarded for the match, as the Barbarians are a composite team. After this game, however, the Springboks will play 2 test matches against Italy on the 5th and the 12th of July in Pretoria and Gqeberha. For more information on this and to look at the lineups and for tomorrow, we're joined by Jan de Koning. He's the editor at rugby365.com. Jan, thanks so much for taking the time out to chat to us. Obviously, as I just mentioned now, it's a non-capped invitational fixture. We have been chatting about it this entire week, that it's not an official test match. However, both teams will be playing with test match intensity. Do you not agree?
Very much so. You can clearly see Rassie is intentional in his selection. That backline would be an A-team backline. Fassi, Cheslin, Jesse, the guys that played in the World Cup. Sasha has enough game time. Maybe he's still young. And Morne, I think the selection in terms of trial, if you want to say trial and error, you got Vincent Tsutsuka, and then obviously Jean-Luc getting a chance at number 8. But it's definitely a very strong team. And the Barbarians, maybe their selection, a few of the older guys, maybe guys on the brink of retirement, but I don't think you write them off. I think the interesting thing for me is the 2 South Africans in the locks, Ruben van Heerden, the Stormers lock, the non-capped. They've got a tradition, the Barbers got a tradition of always selecting a non-capped player on the fringe of selection, and Ruben fills that role. And then obviously Dave Ribbons, who played a lot for England, but hails here from Cape Town. So, no, it's certainly a very interesting match. It will be entertaining, and I think it's 2 very, very strong teams, and it's probably worth a few rand if you've got that to spare. Get yourself a ticket.
I know, what a pity. I would have loved to go and see it. In fact, you said the word entertaining, because I've been watching the Barbarian social media, particularly on Twitter or X.com. They have been superb. Obviously, there's been jibes, towards the Springboks, asking Rassie for some inside information, especially with regards to Dan Newman's camp as well. But many people have been expressing their disappointment, in fact, at their lineup, asking where Murray is, but they have been also speaking about Peter O'Mahony, and that this is probably his last opportunity to finish with a bang, so to speak.
Very much so. The players they are asking about, remember the British and Irish Lions are currently touring Australia. So a lot of frontline players are involved with the Lions in there. So some of the names that people are talking about is down in Australia traveling with the Lions. But this is still a very impressive team. Mahoney, and the players I mentioned earlier, these are players on the brink of retirement, but very seasoned internationals, and they will give they understand the box, they know the box mentality, so they will give us a run for our money.
You mentioned Jacques-Luc du Preez. Some people have said he's somewhat of a prodigal son returning to the Bok squad. And then I think we have to talk about Asenati and Hlabakanye as well. I mean, he was superb in the Vodacom URC, and many people are excited to see him in action.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited to see that front row. You get Ox and established proper. We know his scrumming power. We know Malcolm Marx's game, very dynamic. And Ashenati is certainly a player with skills, a brute, a monster of a man. And strangely enough, you mentioned Don's camp on his farm. Ashenati's shed 18 kilograms, so he's down to 140 kilograms. It might sound, but he's a massive unit. I mean, he's 6 feet tall, so he's not a small child.
Yeah, I think a lot of us actually want to go and visit Dan's camp there and have our own body transformations there. Interestingly, though, I saw a comment from an analyst, I think it was online that I was reading, and he was saying that, these type of transformations in players like Asenati are not always desired, but it is to improve, I suppose, the muscular prowess of these players. What were your thoughts when you saw some of the videos coming out when Rassie Erasmus shared that, and what Dan's been doing with the players at his camp?
I think people underestimate the quality of the equipment there, or the technology behind it. Don knows what he's doing, and people don't understand the techniques he's using. And if you spend time, if you understand the dynamics of a scrum, and you will see how Don tweaks those guys, how to get low, how to get powerful, to get into powerful positions. And I think that's interesting. You see snippets, you only see brief snippets. I think to watch a whole session of how he works with his players and the thought process behind getting the players into the dynamics of a scrum, where you force a player to keep steady and stable while there's force from the front and force from behind. It's very technical. It's not as simple as just pure muscle. It is a technique that is training them.
I never knew that much about the scrum, I must say, and then just doing some reading on it, I know why he's being called a guru now. Before I let you go, there has been a lot of reflection, 30 years since we lifted that trophy in 1995. Many people saying, who would be the dream squad? I'm sure you were there reflecting upon that. What memories does it evoke for you? And then as I let you go, give me a prediction for tomorrow.
My money will be on the Springboks. I think the Barbarians will entertain, they'll threaten. If we underestimate them, they will certainly surprise us. But I think the unity of the Springboks, the cohesion will be too much. And the last 20, their conditioning will take over the Barbars, which had a good old time here in Cape Town. So my money is definitely on the Springboks.
And then your reflections on that 1995 World Cup. Sorry, I might have missed you speaking there with the technical glitches.
No, all good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I remember as if it was yesterday, the airplane flying over. So you're correct. I was there. I attended the game. And it was a wonderful experience, seeing Madiba walking out, seeing the crowd instinctively shouting his name. It was just an experience. You had to be there to experience. You can watch as many clips as you like. You will never get that feeling of being live in that moment.